I'd like to sort of take a couple of minutes with the time that we've got left to ask each of our panelists for their key takeaways, or really sort of the points that they feel out of everything that's being covered are of particular pertinence. Mike, I think we heard from you first. Do you want to sort of take a couple of minutes to give us some final thoughts?
Yeah. So I think a few key takeaways that I kind of already mentioned and have been reiterated. Don't underestimate the amount of time, but again, don't underestimate the amount of guidance that's out there. So we've been brought on for a few projects where the clients have gone most of the way with their project, and unfortunately, we found errors and essentially had to do some rework that added some additional time that wasn't initially expected. So really making sure you're fully familiar with the guidance is key. And I think another area too is if you do have complexities, certainly talk to your complexities, I guess, in terms of accounting or your leases. Talk to your auditors earlier than later. And I would emphasize making sure that they're talking to their lease experts internally. What I've found is that a lot of times we have to do the teaching to the audit teams as they're not fully up to speed on the guidance, and that applies to Big Four as well. So sometimes they'll say they're good with an approach that you're taking, and then later on find out that their specialists have questions on it, and it just kind of adds time at the end. Whereas if they brought those specialists in earlier, we could have saved everyone time in the long run.
Thank you. And then we heard from Pam. Pam, do you want to give us some of your key takeaways?
Sure. I would say don't wait. We've seen quite a few public companies that waited till the last minute, that took their time, and they're running up against the clock. So I would say don't wait. The next thing I would mention is don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to get advice. And then lastly, I would say you've got some great resources on the phone today as presenters. We've already helped clients implement. So take our advice from the lessons that we've learned, or that our clients have learned, and get moving on this.
Excellent. And then lastly, we heard from Heidi. Heidi, do you want to give us some key takeaways from yourself?
You bet. Hey, so I'll just echo that, right? Measure and consider the level of effort and requirements now, right? Start thinking about that today and really identify what your desired outcome is. And then begin to leverage your resources. They're probably sitting all around you. Engage those folks who are available to you to start that planning process and understand what resources are available. And in this effort, really begin to consider this an opportunity to digitize and begin to provide insights to your data, and think about it not only in terms of compliance, but beyond. And leverage things like next generation lease accounting requirements, like integration with procurement and AP automation, because you're going to be spending the time and the money anyways, and there's no time like now.